Good afternoon. I'm Deborah Vinsel, the CEO at Thurston Community Television. I had the great honor of being named a Woman of Distinction in 2005, and it is my pleasure and my privilege to be your MC today. Welcome to the Girl Scouts of Western Washington 2012 Thurston County Women of Distinction Luncheon. It's my pleasure to introduce the Girl Scouts from Troop 40110 who've been selected for the presentation of our flags. Please join me in standing for the flag ceremony.
Girl Scout attention, Color Guard advance. Color Guard, please post your colors. Color Guard, honor your colors. Will you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you all please join me in the promise? On my honor, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout laws. Color Guard retreat.
That was Troop 40110. I think we're going to see more of them later. Thank you, girls, for that great job. Watching Girl Scouts right here in our community build girls confident enough to get in front of a crowd is something we should all be excited about. I'm so glad to see you all showing your support by being here today. And on behalf of the Girl Scouts of Western Washington and, of course, the girls, we thank you for joining us. We're also very pleased to recognize the outstanding sponsors who continue to impress us with their commitment to Girl Scouts and their generosity. Please direct your attention to the screens in the front of the room for a list of our sponsors. A special thank you to our presenting sponsor, Bank of America. And thank you, yes, that's fine. And thank you to our partners, Alaska Airlines, who is sponsoring our raffle today. Have you purchased your raffle tickets? And if not, I'm sure there are raffle tickets available. If you'd like to purchase a ticket, raise your hand for $5. You can purchase a raffle ticket for 2 tickets anywhere Alaska Airlines flies, or you can get 5 tickets for just 20 bucks. And a drawing will be held at the end of the program. And on a side note, the board of directors, the chairman of my board of directors was a guest with me last year, and he won. So everybody over there at table 1, keep that in mind. We want to thank our other very generous sponsors also Bogart and Johnson. I think they're over here. The Red Lion Hotel, Jill Floberg, Olympia Federal Savings, and Titus Will Cars. A complete list of all of our other generous sponsors is found in your program, so let's thank them now. As the CEO of a nonprofit, I know how very important it is for our business community to be involved in what we do, so we truly honor your presence here with us today. Today, as we celebrate the 100th anniversary of Girl Scouts, we're joined by a distinguished group of honored guests. I'd like to ask all of the elected officials in the room to please stand. If you are in an elected office, please stand. Thank you for your service to our community and for investing in the lives of our girls. And I'd also like to issue a special thank you to the people responsible for inviting you here today, you, our guest, our table captains. Please join me in giving the table captains a round of applause. And lastly, will everyone in the room who's ever been a Girl Scout please stand? Look around at your fellow Scouts. It's amazing to see. Look around the room at your fellow Girl Scouts. It's amazing to see the number of lives that Girl Scouts has touched. To start the program off today, please welcome Allegro Badillo and troop number 40110. They will be leading us in song. And if you're a former Girl Scout, you know that singing is an important part of the Girl Scout experience. Lyrics for the words for the songs will be up on the screens. Come on up, girls. If you're going to sing the songs, come on up. And they are going to lead us in those Girl Scout favorites. I think there's some more maybe supposed to come up. Come on up. There's not a straight line from here to there. That's the problem, you know. So they're going to lead us in the Girl Scout favorites, the Brownie Smile song, and Make New Friends. So I'm going to turn it over now to Allegra.
Please join us in the Brownie Smile song. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Something in my pocket and the arms across my face. I keep it very close to me in the most convenient place. I'm sure you wouldn't guess it if you guessed a long, long while. So I'll take it out and put it on its great big brownie smile. Please join us in the song Make New Friends. 1, 2, 3. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. A circle is round, it has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. Thank you.
And I'm looking for Megan. Oh, I didn't see Megan.
Hello, I am Megan Furland, and I have the privilege for the last 3 months of being the CEO for Girl Scouts of Western Washington. And yes, it is huge and so fun. I come to you having been the CEO for Girl Scouts of Colorado, so I have done this. I loved it there. I will tell you a secret. I'm loving it even more here. And that is significantly because of things like this. This is my first Thurston County Women of Distinction luncheon, and you guys are just amazing. I have to do 2 quick thank yous. First of all, to all of our girls. I love having them here. They are the reason that we're all here. And ladies, I know it is really, really, really nerve-wracking to have to come up on stage and either sing or speak. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your grown-ups for getting you here. You deserve a big, huge kudos for that. And we also have some members of the Girl Scouts of Western Washington Board of Directors with us today, and I could not do my job without them doing their job. So I'd like them to stand real quick. If you're a Girl Scouts of Western Washington board member, would you please thank you for everything that you do to help us. The reason that I'm so excited about what we're doing in Girl Scouts of Western Washington is because this council is providing amazing cutting-edge leadership opportunities for girls all across the council, from the southern border to the northern border, from the east to the west. And that is our commitment and our responsibility as your council, and I'm thrilled to be a part of that. You're going to be so excited by some of the stories that you're going to hear about your girls today, and you're going to be just as proud of them as I am. You're going to get to hear from one of them next, and that is Natalie Ramsey. Natalie is a Girl Scout ambassador now. She started in kindergarten, which I think is so cool. She goes to North Pierce High School. She has earned her bronze, her silver, and her gold award, which is an amazing feat. She also is in the 1,000+ club for being a stellar cookie seller. And she has used a lot of the funds that she raised through the cookie program to support her Gold Award project. What she did was work with schools in, I'm going to say the country wrong, so feel free to correct me, in Tanzania. There you go, I'm being global. In Tanzania, developed fun jump rope games to help those kids better their math and their English skills, which is just stunning to me that that's what our girls are doing with their Gold Award. Natalie, thank you so much for being here, and thank you to her parents for getting her here.
So as you guys know, my name is Natalie. I'm a senior and I attend North Thurston High School, but most importantly, I'm an Ambassador Girl Scout. This is my 13th year in Girl Scouting. It's been a long time. I've been on destinations traveling around the United States. I've been horseback riding in Georgia, I went dog sledding in Minnesota, and I rappelled down waterfalls in California. I'm a National Girl Consultant with the National Board Leadership Lanes with the Girl Scouts of the United States of America, which has given me the opportunity to be in 2 photo shoots through Girl Scouts. I have sold over 1,200 boxes of cookies, and I have earned my Bronze Award, my Silver Award, and my Girl Scout Gold Award. For my Girl Scout Gold Award, I traveled to Arusha, Tanzania to complete my Gold Award project, Jump. I brought over 10 jump rope binders, 48 jump ropes, and over 200 friendship bracelets that mostly my mom made. My goal was to introduce a fun way to learn basic math and English skills, the 2 subjects the students in Tanzania struggle the most with. The jump rope binders had jump rope rhymes that had simple accounting and English words. Oh boy, sounds cliche, but I went to Tanzania to help the students learn math and English, but they taught me so much more than I could have ever taught them. I came back learning so much. I figured that the most important things in life is not how much money you've made, whether or not you have the nicest car on the block, or even if you have hot water to take a shower. I came back with my eyes open to a world of happiness and opportunities if I focus on what's most important to me. So even though I got a really nice tan while I was in Tanzania, I realized there's a world waiting for me to experience. Thank you.
So if you wonder why it's important to support Girl Scouts, all you have to do is look at Natalie's beautiful face and know that it does make a difference. The Women of Distinction Award is a prestigious award for Girl Scouts of Western Washington. Each year, we carefully review candidates based on important criteria, like living the values of Girl Scouting, demonstrating our mission of courage, confidence, and character to make the world a better place, and helping girls learn important leadership skills. It's my pleasure now to introduce you to this year's Women of Distinction. Our first honoree was not a Girl Scout when she was a girl, but a Girl Scout Brownie leader for her 2 daughters, Courtney and Michelle. She recalls hikes and overnight camping trips on the Olympic Peninsula, where this young-at-heart troop leader often conspired with the Brownies in playing practical jokes on the other mothers who accompanied them. Troop leader Gregoire also worked to broaden the girls' horizons by leading the troop to study and learn and celebrate other work cultures and language. She still keeps track of some of her former Brownies who have become mothers, nurses, attorneys, and other distinguished women. Since she took office in 2005, Governor Gregoire has worked hard to balance our state's budget, to create a world-class education system, approve a landmark transportation package, protect the health of Puget Sound, and protect vital social services. Especially since the economic downturn, Governor Gregoire strives to balance the budget while supporting job creation and economic growth. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you our first 2012 Woman of Distinction honoree, our governor, the Honorable Christine Gregoire.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. I am truly honored today, and I appreciate this record and distinction from you. I'd like, if I could, to start by giving hats off to the two other women of distinction who will be honored here today, two people whom I think are absolutely fantastic. Thelma Jackson, a passionate leader in the field of education, and Kayleen Cottingham, a passionate leader in the field of the environment. So to both of you, congratulations. I am truly honored to be here with you two. And by the way, Kayleen, she has a badge on today for sewing. Yeah, turn it around and just see how good a job she did. I am also honored to be here to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Girl Scouts. It's pretty safe to say that there are probably thousands of celebrations going on all over the world like this, and I was a little amazed to hear that in the last 100 years, more than 50 million girls from 145 different countries have been Girl Scouts. Maybe that's the reason why we have a number of our girls that are growing up and breaking the glass ceiling. They're becoming astronauts and governors and legislators and Supreme Court justices, college presidents, scientists. There is no barrier now to these young women and the success that they can achieve. Secretary Hillary Clinton was a Girl Scout. She travels the world now to ensure that we have peace around the globe. And she says that her scouting days made a real difference to her in making the world a better place. And that's what scouting does to all our girls. It teaches them teamwork. It teaches them the love of community, self-sacrifice, and the greater good. And it also teaches them to have a little fun and enjoy. So while, as was indicated, I wasn't a Girl Scout, I made up for it by having both our girls be Girl Scouts. And on top of that, I did volunteer to be the troop leader. Our girls benefited in many ways, but let me share with you the truth of it all. I got more out of it, I swear, than my girls got out of it. I learned a lot, some things that have helped me, frankly, as governor. For one, I learned how to survive after I've been totally fried. For example, this last legislative session, we sine-died, I think it was 7:20 a.m. all night long, and then I went home, took a nap, changed my clothes, came back, and went back to work. Now you may say, well, what'd you do in Girl Scouts that led you to be able to do that? Well, those were the sleepovers that taught me how to do that. You know, this competition for selling the Girl Scout cookies, I had an idea. I thought, you know, there's a gold mine in that legislative session. All those lobbyists, all those legislators, if I can just get my troop up there, we can sell more than they can make. So first stop was my own daughter, stopped in the governor's office and asked Booth Gardner if he'd welcome us in and buy a box of cookies. He welcomed us in and then borrowed the money from me to buy the box of cookies. Another thing I learned is proper flag protocol. You know, as governor, I am responsible of flying not only the United States flag and the Washington State flag, but the flags of other countries. And I really do and have learned how to do that. Now, I did have a little experience, as was mentioned, as the troop leader. We were doing a camping trip, and I brought one of my brownies over, and I said, say, how about we do something special for Mom in the morning when we raise the flag? So we got something special out, and we raised the flag, and Mom wasn't too impressed that we're flying her bra over the entire camp. But I can't tell you how much fun we had doing that. Not at my expense, of course. Seriously, though, I have learned something new and important about girls and about the women that they become. I've learned that Girl Scouts does so much good for all young females who are able to participate in Girl Scouts. I learned something very important, and that is Girl Scouts care about all girls. Girl Scouts work hard to bring all the girls into the fold, no matter what their background or no matter what their situation in life may be. For example, Girl Scouts reaches out to bring in girls on the margins of life. For instance, girls whose parents are in prison. I am grateful for Girl Scouts. I'm grateful for what they do for girls, what they're doing for millions of girls around the world. I'm grateful that we are blessed with an organization that makes them stronger and makes them better. So thank you to Girl Scouts for all you do. Thank you for this recognition. And to those friends whom I've not seen in some time, particularly my buddies from the Attorney General's office, thank you all for honoring me and coming here to celebrate. Some of my neighbors from my Foxhall, thank you for coming. It's great to be here with all of you, and particularly with Thelma and Kayleen to celebrate with them. Congratulations on 100 years, and may this great organization celebrate another 100. Congratulations, everyone.
It's my pleasure to introduce our second woman of distinction today, Dr. Thelma A. Jackson. Dr. Jackson has over 30 years of experience in education change initiatives, restructuring and reform, equity and diversity, policy making, community mobilization, strategic planning, and school improvement and curriculum evaluation for bias and fairness. She has served on task force and advisory councils for 5 governors of Washington. Dr. Jackson has served in numerous leadership capacities over the years, including the Washington State School Directors Association, and is a 5-time president of the North Thurston School Board. She's been chairperson of the Washington State College, where she later taught as an adjunct faculty member in urban education. She's also served on the board of the Pacific Peaks Girl Scout Council, where she made a point of connecting Black girls with Girl Scout troops in the community so they could have a positive experience, the positive experience she wasn't able to have as a girl. She says the determination to open that door for girls came from knowing just how important the values, beliefs, and principles of Girl Scouting would be to their lives. Her own 2 daughters were Girl Scouts for several years. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome our next honoree, Dr. Thelma A. Jackson.
It is indeed an honor and a pleasure to be here today as one of the honorees for 2012, joining this distinguished sorority of women that have been honored over the past, particularly to my 2 fellow honorees. What a pleasure to share today's occasion with them. Thank you, Governor, for your very kind remarks. I myself was not a Girl Scout. My growing up experiences in the segregated Deep South did not allow such an activity for a little Black girl such as me. But I did know that there was such an organization out there and the kinds of things they were involved with and were about. And so my journey that brought me from the Deep South to the Pacific Northwest in June of 1968 brought me to the Tri-Cities, the other side of this state. The east side, as we all call it here, as a recruit by Battelle Northwest and on the Hanford Project. I had graduated from Southern University with a degree in biochemistry. And in those heydays of affirmative action, federal contractors swarmed to our campuses looking and seeking for any of us with science, math, engineering degrees. And that was the opportunity that brought me to the Pacific Northwest and to the state of Washington, and immediately became involved in community activities. One of those things being a very strong desire on my part to make sure that Black girls in the Tri-Cities had opportunities to be Girl Scouts, since I had not. So I sought out the Mid-Columbia Council, and eventually, after a few years, became a board member on that council, and became very actively involved in the recruitment and the participation of Black girls in Girl Scouts. When my family relocated here in Olympia, with my husband going interstate government, the Pacific Peaks was here, the counterpart of Mid-Columbia. And the message preceded me across the mountains that there was a willing volunteer coming who had a commitment and a dedication to Girl Scouts, and you should get her. And so before I could hardly unpack, I had a call from Pacific Peaks inquiring about my interest in continuing my volunteerism at the board level of Girl Scouts, which I did. And that was many years ago. But as I have followed and tracked the activities of Girl Scouts, being very interested continuously through my educational experiences in issues such as access and opportunity and equity, as we see our state changing in its complexion so rapidly, we have to be cognizant of those efforts and those commitments to make sure that Girl Scouts continue to be the inclusive kind of organization that impressed me so many years ago. The values, the ideals, the principles for which it stands are as needed now more than ever. As a society, we have lost so much of our moral compass, and girls as well as boys need guidance, need direction, need values in their lives. And this organization has stood the test of time of making those things happen. And when you hear about the legacy of so many women that have gone forward who had their start in Girl Scouts, and the governor began to touch upon some of them, we know that we have to make sure that those issues of access, opportunity, and equity continue to be a part of the principles for which Girl Scouts stand. So I am more than delighted to be honored here today as one of the 3 new women of distinction. I am delighted to be joined by my husband, Nat, of 45 years, my Girl Scout, my Girl Scout daughter, Debrina, and dear friends who chose to make their presence and their support here for me today. I look forward to the world that continues to be out there for girls everywhere who have learned through their experience and exposure to Girl Scouting that they can be all they want to be, and that the glass ceiling is nothing but an imagination. Thank you.
Girl Scouts learn to juggle a lot of things. Finally, our 3rd honoree today is Kayleen Cottingham. Kayleen grew up in Seattle and joined Girl Scouts as a brownie in 1962. She remained a Girl Scout until she started college in 1974. Later in life, she was recruited to join the board of the Pacific Peaks Girl Scout Council in Southwest Washington and was one of the key board members involved in the corporate merger that created the new council, Girl Scouts of Western Washington. Kayleen has had a long and colorful career in natural resource management. Currently, she serves as director of the state's Recreation and Conservation Office, a position she was appointed to by Governor Gregoire in 2007. In her position, she grants millions of dollars for important recreation, conservation, and salmon recovery projects across the state. Prior to this, Kayleen practiced law and provided strategic advice on natural resources and land use issues. She's been a member of the Pollution Control and Shorelines Hearing Board as a Deputy Commissioner of Public Lands and served as a supervisor of the Department of Natural Resources. Kayleen also served as the National Resources Policy Advisor and then legal counsel to Governor Booth Gardner and served as legal counsel for the Washington Senate Natural Resources and Agricultural Committees. Our third honoree today, please welcome Kayleen Cottingham.
Thank you so much. It's quite an honor to be recognized here today, especially with my friend and mentor, the governor. It's been about 30 years since I was that young college intern when you were the Deputy Attorney General. It's also nice and comforting to be recognized in front of so many of my friends and family out here. My mom and dad, my sisters, all of my friends, cohorts from former jobs. It's great to see you all here today. Girl Scouts is an incredible organization, and it has influenced me in many ways, and I thought, rather than the inspiring speeches of the last two, I would, like the book, All I Learned in Kindergarten, All I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, my list is all I need to know I learned in Girl Scouts. So here's my list. Number 1, belong to a troop. Over my life, I belonged to at least 4 Girl Scout troops, and in fact, one of my troop leaders is here today. Gretchen Zatterin was troop leader when I was in cadets. But over the years, I've belonged to thousands of troops. Here with me today are my parts of my book troop. Yay. My wine troop, parts of my wine troop is here. My Get Her Done Gals troop, yay, woo! My Blister Sister group. My Friday night troop. I think, Bill, you're the only one here today, sorry. My family troop, my work troops. There are troops. Troops are incredibly important to us. They're our lifeline. For me, they're my lifeline, my safety net. I think you would all agree that our troops are really important to maintaining our mental health. So here's to troops and belonging to them. The second thing I learned is to wear the uniform proudly. And you'll see I do have my sash on today. It doesn't fit the right way, and things are pinned on, so whatever. But at least I found it. It was in a box labeled Kayleen's Keen Junk. I also brought all the handwritten song notebooks, all my sashes from when I was a camp counselor, and you see some of the great pictures my dad was able to find in the books. So, I also like the little sock garters you used to be able to wear with your knee socks. Those are great. Most of the things either don't fit or don't go with my current uniform today. And one of the things I did when I was in Girl Scouting is I had a 4-day rule for a shirt. Front ways, back ways, inside out, front ways and back ways. And that is no longer a rule I can get away with at work. It did allow me to go to camp for 2 weeks with 3 shirts. But my mom would not let me out of the car on the way home, so I do remember that. Stay in the car on the ferry boat. Do not get out. The third thing I learned in Girl Scouts was to be a trailblazer. While you're going to run across all those spider webs and spiders, to be a trailblazer, somebody has to do it. And I've had some incredible rewards at being a trailblazer. I was the first woman in the state of Washington appointed to be the state forester, and only the second in the country. And it said to those young women who worked at DNR or who are coming up through our colleges, there is no glass ceiling. You can do it. So be a trailblazer. And your sisters are there to help you blaze that trail. The number 4 thing that I learned is you have to clean the latrine sometimes. In every job, there is dirty work that has to be done. You might as well roll up your sleeves and get it done. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Number 6, I learned to respect Mother Nature. I learned a lot from my family, hiking and camping and skiing, but I also loved immensely going to summer camp. I loved Camp Robbinswold, hiking in the Olympics, canoeing on Hood Canal. I had the opportunity in 1971 to join about 30 girls from around the country to canoe a major part of the Lewis and Clark route through Idaho and Washington. Some of the river was still whitewater. The dams hadn't been closed up. I learned how to avoid rattlesnake nests. I learned how to avoid golden eagle attacks. I learned why not to hide under your canoe in a thunderstorm. And these are all skills that I use every day in dealing with elected officials. Next, I learned to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Girl Scouts are the ultimate recyclers. We made things we could cook on, from tuna cans, wax, cardboard. We made ovens with foil and cardboard. We smeared peanut butter into pine cones for bird food. And we ate Spam, which is probably a recycled product. I think that these issues about recycling and reusing and reducing are important because we have to save this planet. It's all we have. So it's a good lesson to have learned. The next thing I learned was to be inquisitive and curious and to be a lifelong learner. A group of us at Camp River Ranch found this wounded mouse, and we scooped him into a little shoebox, and as we looked over him, he spread his foot-long wings, his bat wings, and hissed at us. Of course, we were a little bit surprised. And the lesson I learned is to understand nature, because it's a delicate web out there, and we have to be careful with it. So, the 8th thing I learned was to understand the rules. Now, we all at the beginning of this lunch said the Girl Scout promise, and for most of us it was memorization. But I now know that these rules are really the principles that guide us all. They're about equity, fairness, respect. These are things that make us all a good, caring people, and a Girl Scout. That's what we are, good and caring people. The 9th thing I learned is to laugh often. I learned at camp that I could tell funny stories. I learned that I could get kids to giggle for hours. I learned that you can laugh hard enough for your Cheerios to come out your nose. This I learned at Girl Scouts. And lastly, I learned that there is a song for every situation. I still have all my handwritten Girl Scout songs. I usually break out to them, and they just pop into my mind. Long after I've forgotten all of you, I will remember Girl Scout songs. When I've had a tough week, the Outhouse Blues is helpful, or Little Old Ladies Locked in the Lavatory. All very helpful, and singing is an important part of my life, so thank you for teaching me that. And so, whether it was selling Girl Scout cookies to all of my relatives, I could never convince my grandma that they were a good deal. Spending summers at camp, the Girl Scouts is more than an extracurricular activity. It's a way of life, it's a ethos, it's a commitment to things that are important, and it was a life-changing, life-molding experience. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to thank Girl Scouts for making me who I am today. So, thank you.
Wow, please join me in celebrating all of our honorees. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize all of the women of distinction in our audience today. So if you've been honored in the past, would you please stand to be recognized? And I have a couple special recognitions. In the audience with us today is a lady who's probably been a Girl Scout longer than most of us. Please welcome Marjorie Winterstein over here. In her proud Girl Scout green. And Kathy, where are you? Kathy Houston, okay. And back here at Kathy Houston's table, we want to recognize members from Brownie Troop number 5. 3 members who have been meeting weekly since 1952. Welcome, ladies. Please, now we'd like to share with you how Girl Scouts have impacted the lives of girls locally.
We are Girl Scouts and we are forever green.
I am a Girl Scout.
I'm a new Girl Scout.
We are a Girl Scout family, and I have been a Girl Scout for 50 years.
I've been a Girl Scout for 35 years.
I've been a Girl Scout for 3 years.
I've been a Girl Scout for 67 years, and I'm going to be a Girl Scout forever.
The most important part about Girl Scouts for me is that it's really encouraged me to involve in more community service projects. And Girl Scouts has really helped me to strive towards basically affecting my community, attempting to make my world a better place. And it's really given me the starting point.
I fell in love with volunteering and Girl Scouts, and it made me feel like I had a purpose.
Girl Scouts really do make the world a better place. And when I work with my campers in the summer, I think, I want you to become senators and representatives.
If I look at my 2 girls as an example, what I see that Girl Scouts accomplished is to increase their self-esteem.
It's important to educate and to inspire these young girls that are coming out.
When you teach a camper to light a fire, she just beams. It's wonderful.
The best part of Girl Scouts Beyond Bars is going to visit my dad. What it means to me to play with my dad, awesome.
Being a Girl Scout is making a difference in my life because I'm not shy to be in front of people or cameras, and now I can go out of a different place and know that it'll still be fun and I'll learn new things.
We've stayed involved because we firmly believe in what Girl Scouts does, and we know that we can help.
As a whole, I believe that Girl Scouting is a gift for life.
You don't fail at Girl Scouts. You just go ahead and go and learn it. And I think that's the important thing, that they are urged to not give up.
It develops skills and abilities and knowledge in many, many areas. And I think they become better citizens.
Girl Scouts helped me become the person I am today. That's where everything started for me. It was Girl Scouts. It helped me to be a role model, to be a leader. Like, I'm surprised that all these things could come out of me. I never knew that I had, you know, I guess you would say hidden talents.
It's interesting to me that the more Girl Scout changes to meet the needs of whatever age the girl is at the time, the more it stays the same. And Girl Scouts' basic interests of giving girls knowledge and skill sets and opportunities to become not only strong, more capable young women, but stronger, more capable people is just so empowering, I think. And it did it 100 years ago. It's doing it now. It'll do it 100 years down the road.
And when she was 21 years of age, you tell.
You're the one with the microphone.
She said to me, "Mom, I'd like to have my lifetime pin from Girl Scouts." That's the biggest compliment you could ever get.
Courage, confidence, and character. And I'm pleased to welcome to the podium now a woman who I believe has all of those, because she's here to make a special request from all of you. Please welcome Carolyn Manger. This is where we vamp. It's a bigger room than last year.
How wonderful it is to hear the stories you shared today, and how happy I am to be here with you. We are here to mark 100 years of investing in our young women, past, present, and most importantly, the future. I am proud to have been a Brownie and a Girl Scout, but unlike the organization, I don't go back quite 100 years. I do go back in my scouting years to the 1950s, but I can honestly say that I've been working for 50 years. The first 25 as a radiological technologist, and the second 25 in the insurance industry. As a successful businesswoman, I have never lost sight of the guiding principles that I have learned through scouting. And I can tell you today, no matter what you do, you are never too old to be a passionate volunteer for the Girl Scouts. Our communities benefit from female leadership, and watching the video reminds us what kind of women we produce from the ranks of the Scouting program. Many Girl Scouts grow up to be leaders in their communities, businesses, and professions, while also rising to the challenge and demands of motherhood as well. Here are just a few statistics about the scouting and success, and we've heard these a couple of times today. 80% of women business owners were Girl Scouts. 69% of women senators were Girl Scouts. 67% of women House members were Girl Scouts. Every woman astronaut who has flown in space was a Girl Scout. From state governors to CEOs, women are making strides in creating and strengthening our country. How did these accomplished women get there? Through hard work and a proud sense of achievement. Due in part to the principles and ethics introduced and reinforced in the Girl Scouts. Girls are welcome into scouting from all segments of our communities, regardless of their ability to pay, and their lives are being changed. Girl Scouts are capable, they have courage, they have confidence, and they are characters. Actually, Girl Scouts builds character. It is important for girls to have opportunities for personal growth, and Girl Scouts is the premier leadership organization for girls. These opportunities include experiencing the great outdoors, imparting a set of values and a positive sense of self-affirmation. We, you and I, need Girl Scouts for the future of our communities. Looking around, many of you are or have been Girl Scouts and are no doubt keenly aware of the importance of our mission. To run our programs successfully, it costs our local Girl Scouts Council roughly $250 per girl per year. This is enough to send a girl to a week-long resident camp, or 5 girls to a week-long day camp, or to help provide 6 new replacement mattresses for the St. Albans camp. We have to remember these things. First aid kits, life jackets, scouting uniforms, books, insignias, fees. Such a small investment to make in a girl's life. And if you pledge or donate $250 or more today, I can turn this into $500, thanks to a wonderful group of supporters who will match these funds. Last year, we gave over $11,000 in financial assistance in Thurston County Girl Scouts. We know only too well that girls today need positive reinforcement and every ounce of encouragement to become the strong leaders of tomorrow. Let's do our part, ensuring that girls growing up in Thurston County will one day have their own scouting stories to share. It will take a lot more than cookies to make this happen. Now, I would like to ask, what did you do today? Our community needs this scouting program. It is my privilege and pleasure to ask you to pull out your checkbooks and your credit cards. This is where we demonstrate what each of us already knows, that Girl Scouting empowers girls as scouts of tomorrow. You all already know the future leaders we need in our communities are the young Girl Scouts of today. Whatever amount that you write your check or credit card for, add an extra 0 to it. Please be aware, however, that any donation over $25 is deductible, tax deductible. Whatever amount you write that check for, please give from your heart. And remember that there is a match of $250 for every check written of $250 or more. Once again, this comes from our Challenge Fund supporters who have generously stepped up. So please, I challenge you to make an investment in her life and our future. Thank you very much.
Okay, so for those of you who wrote that check for $200, add 50 to it. and it will be matched. So we can turn 250 into 500 day if you do that. So remember, every gift of 250 or more will be matched by another. Okay, it's time for the big sing-along. We do this at the end of camp, so I'd like to welcome the troop from 40110, Allegra, and her friends to please come up. Little entertainment while you're considering that number on that check or credit card voucher. You know, no donation is too large. Please, give generously. It makes a huge difference. So we have all the girls here? Is this everybody? Okay, so please sing along.
Like she said, we ask you to sing along, please. This is the song of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the song of one voice. This is the song of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrendering to the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of all of us, singing to love and the will to trust. Leave the rest behind, turn to dust. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of all of us. This is the sound of one voice, one people, one voice, a song for every one of us. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice.
Thank you, girls. And thank you again for sharing your lunchtime with the Girl Scouts of Western Washington. As you leave, please know that you have helped change the lives and the futures of young women in our community and set the groundwork for the next 100 years. We congratulate our honorees today, Governor Gregoire, Kayleen, and Thelma. Thank you for all being here and for your support. And thanks to all of you who support girls in your life by supporting Girl Scouts. Please take a box of cookies. There's cookies. There's always cookies. And we hope that we will see you again next year. Thank you for joining us.